Hello, it's Dark episode for February 26th, 2022. Hey, it's the start of the weekend, and we're trucking along on a mobile Dark episode, as we have been for the last day or two, with all the tile drains ripped up, and there being a big trench around the house in the back that I don't want to fall into, or more importantly, have the guppies fall into. Oh, yes. Here we go. I'm called upon to do my duties with the duty. ASMR dog ear things. Wow, talk about slice of life. Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. How was my day? Rattling, horribly rattling doggy bag. God. I checked in with our old friend, I don't know if he's gone off the deep end or if he's just an irascible fellow, Burton, Sir Richard Francis. He's done videos before, and indeed he just did a video recently on banned books, noting that, I've been banned, been censored a number of times, probably for a community guideline strike, much like, well, sort of like my own. He is actually a genuine skeptic, sharing information that's probably contrary to what medical professionals are putting forward over the stuff that is spreading around the world and is hopefully ebbing off now, and that and whatever protective devices you can use for that go over your face. And I mean, there's a point to be had that we are being monitored on this private facility, this YouTube. If we use certain keywords, the algorithm will flag us and our videos will get yoinked. I know this, and because I've had it happen to me, I'm actually about to try and publish my review of the Codebreaker, where one of my versions where I digressed for a while on various issues did hit the algorithm. So when he said, there's going to be a tsunami of books discussing this whole thing, and some of them are not going to agree with the prevailing medical advice. It's like, well, how are we're not going to be able to discuss those books on social media, because there's a whole bunch of algorithms that are set up to squash that kind of conversation. And indeed, he said he posted what his latest ban, where he had a time out of a week where he couldn't actually post anything, was due to him reviewing one of these books, which I won't say the title of, just in case that indeed is one of the things that would trigger stuff on mine. And he said, well, I did a review of it on this other site, which I'm assuming is one of these sites that will host all sorts of crazy, nutso stuff. But, he's reviewing a book, and it's one of those antithetical things of, okay, we're not going to allow any discussion of these books that are going to get published, you know, and some of them are going to be from wingdings, crackpots. I don't know if the one that he's reviewing is one of those. Probably I've been listening to his review on it, and you know, it's one of those things. Talking about devices put over faces to help us prevent thing, and you know, maybe cloth ones aren't that hot. I don't know if they are or not. You know, the cloth thing was always, hopefully maybe it wasn't gonna spread it to other, it's gonna help not spread it to other people. I'm not gonna get into that right now. I'd prefer not to get an actual strike. I've got a warning so far. But there is just that interesting thing of like having gotten a video dinged for basically kind of stumbling into saying some keywords and maybe a country and possibly a certain medical technology all in a video, I think is what got me dinged, because to be honest, my video doesn't actually have any content that I was knowingly questioning stuff over. You know, I think I mentioned some things about how, you know, science is one of these contentious fields where people are always arguing and competing and cooperating. But that's just sort of fairly anodyne observation of science. But I think maybe if I do it in relation to that illness that's been going all over the world in these years, that's raised red flags. And it's interesting how that sort of the thing of like, you know, will once this emergency is declared over, will people be allowed to discuss this stuff again? You know? Or is this a new norm where, no, this is stuff that is forbidden to be discussed on social platforms? Social platforms which are not public utilities. They are not, I'm not on private property right now. I'm in like a mall, where if you go into a mall and you piss off the owners of the mall, you can't say, well, those are my free rights as a citizen, because you're not in a public square, you're in a mall. And that's what we are here, what we're on here in YouTube, in Facebook, in Twitter. We're in the mall. We're in private space where the people who own these private spaces can rightfully dictate, I guess, what we might say or not say, or who will be here or not. And I mean, God, I cheered when a certain former president, who was actually president at the time, got turfed off of Twitter. But, you know, kind of feels a little bit different when you're the one who gets even just mildly tapped on the shoulder to remind you that you're being monitored, not by people, but by a computer at all times, who will tabulate keywords. And if you hit too many keywords, you will be turned off. And there isn't particularly much in the way of an appeal process, as I think my appeal process was then reviewed by another computer, or the same computer or algorithm, and it was just confirmed, and that was it. Yeah, it's just an interesting state of affairs, and while I disagree with everything that Sir Richard Francis Burton says, I sort of feel like, yeah, maybe he should have a right to say stuff. And that's, yeah, so, okay. I'll leave it there. More videos later.